Toby is a schoolboy who is not good at studying, but he is very addicted to playing computer games. At 16, Toby gained $400,000 monthly from playing online games. At age 17, he was willing to fail school and instead earned money from selling chestnuts for $2,000. At age 18, his family went bankrupt and remained $40 million in debt. At age 19, he released Tauke Noi seaweed to more than 3,000 branches at 7-Eleven. Currently, Tobe is a 26-year-old businessman, the owner of the best-selling seaweed in Thailand. He owns 85% of the market share, equivalent to $800 million a year, and has 2,000 employees in his company. The billionaire will let you get to know Tobe Idapat in detail about how he turned himself from an online game addict who always got disparaged by teachers to a famous young billionaire. Today, we will see the story of a young billionaire who is addicted to computer games. One day, he wins money from the games and helps himself to buy a new brand of car. After winning the money from the video game, Top has no credit card, so he takes a credit card from their old butler. After winning a lot of money, he buys a brand new car that looks very glamorous, and then he goes to school by car and gets a call from the teacher to the office. Then his teacher wants to call his parents for failing the exam, but he says that instead of calling his parents, he can cut his merits. His teacher says that he doesn't even have enough merits that he can cut. Then his teacher again says that he will pay for the new admission. But his teacher says that he cannot bribe the school, and he gets very upset with Tobe, saying that, why can't he be like his siblings and graduate like a good student? The teacher expressed concern about his ability to secure a livelihood, and after a brief scolding, he allowed him to leave. After leaving the office, Top sees all the students gathered around his car looking at it in amazement, but ignoring them, Top proceeds to take his girlfriend along, treating her to a meal. Then, they drive around the town in a new car and enjoy the whole day. So he comes home very late. He parks the car outside and asks his butler to bring it inside. Attempting to enter stealthily without arousing his parents, Butler doesn't know much about cars and accidentally sets the alarm, startling him. His parents are waiting near the stairs. His dad scolds him for arriving home late and also for purchasing a car. His father says that if Toby continues to waste money in this manner, he will face financial ruin soon. Tobe says that the money he earns is from online gaming, so he can waste the money as he wishes. However, his dad warns him to prioritize serious studying or be prepared for the consequences, then leaves. His mother tells him that all they want is for him to focus on his studies and emphasizes that he shouldn't cause them excessive worry. She also says that despite the passing years, he can't get chances of higher education, and now, as he attempts to gain admission to university, he faces rejection from the majority of public institutions. Despite the situation, he remains addicted and proceeds to purchase a PlayStation and a DVD player, indicating his continued dedication to gaming. When he gets back home after buying it, his parents are there, and they ask him about his university admission. But he says that he has been admitted to a private university, and surprisingly, the cost is not even that high. His father suggests that he enroll in a community college since he doesn't seem committed to studying, and the family is not willing to invest money in his education. But Toby says that he has money he will pay for himself, and he will study properly in a private university. His mother follows his father and attempts to persuade him to allow Tobe to go to a private university. She also wants Tobe will go to a public university. As his parents argue, he retreats to his room to play video games, only to find that his account has been deleted. He returns to the electronics shop once more and takes advantage of a discount to purchase numerous DVDs. Upon arriving home and attempting to showcase, he finds the DVD players for his parents. One of them malfunctions before being sold or used, but the shopkeeper informs him that the DVDs come with no warranty or exchange policy. That's why they are sold at such low prices, and Tobe should have been aware of it, considering it's common knowledge. The shopkeeper instructs him to discard everything. Frustrated, Tobe, in his anger, shatters a mirror table in the shop. In response, the shopkeeper slaps him, but he swiftly escapes before facing further beating. While he is back home, he extends an offer to give his father a ride back. His father, in turn, imparts a lesson about the seriousness of business, emphasizing that it's a fundamental aspect of life. The father hands some money to Tobe, suggesting he can use it to study wherever he desires. However, when Tobe asserts that he is not one of his father's employees, the father retrieves the money. Later, Toby takes his father's amulet from the house, pawns it in a shop, and receives $100,000 in return. With that money, he heads to school. Once in school, he fails to become more focused and continues to skip classes. He enters the auditorium and observes his girlfriend along with others rehearsing for a drama. After the rehearsal, he approaches her, but she turns down his invitation to go out as she has her classes and a later rehearsal for her drama. Subsequently, he visits a market where various machines are being sold and there is complimentary food available. To try the food produced by the machines, he attentively listens to a person explaining the features of chestnut-making machines. He says that it is the first one in the entire country, and they have imported it from Japan. Toby expresses a great interest and decides to purchase it, despite its high cost, stating that being the first to own it will be a great advantage for him. After returning home, his father becomes angry and says that Toby could have bought it much cheaper at weekend markets, instead of spending the amount he just rented it for. The following day, after school, he approaches an old man selling chestnuts and inquires about the entire process and various techniques related to chestnuts. He persists in his research, reaching out to different people to gather more information. He puts these techniques to use at home, experimenting to create the finest chestnuts. After successfully making his first batch, he invites his butler to taste it. Following a positive response, he shares the chestnuts with his mother, who expresses delight at their deliciousness. Meanwhile, his father is engaged in a meeting with a friend, and they indulge in eating chestnuts throughout the meeting. When his friend inquires about the origin of the delicious treats, he responds by revealing that Tobe is the one responsible for roasting them. In response, his friend commends Tobe's strong work ethic, mentioning that his son is indeed very hardworking. In the mall, Tobe purchases some tasty food to establish his chestnut stand, surrounded by numerous other shops offering a variety of delectable treats positioned along the adjacent corner. He and his butler Twang work together on the first day. Tobe expresses his concern about the low sales and queries why their volume is comparatively limited. The old man responds, explaining that he cannot attract attention as effectively as another energetic seller who can shout, acknowledging his diminishing vigor. Tobe suggests that to boost sales, they need to be more vociferous and repetitive in their marketing approach. They continue to maintain loud voices, now combining them with hand signals to attract people. He goes to a local market for clothes, and there he meets his girlfriend and they talk for a while. When she tells him that she doesn't get paid for her acting, she becomes infuriated and expresses her frustration, considering it highly unfair. While engaged in conversation with her, Tobe's butler interrupts with an incoming phone call. The old man informs him that business is not thriving today, despite the bustling activity of other shops surrounding them. Observing people receiving donations, Tobe gets an idea. Upon returning, he proposes relocating the stall to potentially improve sales. However, his request is denied, with the explanation that he is not permitted to move it. Despite Tobe's attempts to negotiate and express the intention to leave, they assert that no refund will be provided as it is stipulated in the contract. The manager says that after the end of the month, there will be a free spot, and if he wants to move there, he will have to sign the contract. The manager says again that it is a prime location, and he will earn his rental back in no time. While Tobe is in the classroom, his cell phone ringing. After swiftly attending to the call, he rushes to the mall with a bag of chestnuts and is delighted to find a large crowd gathered at his stall on the very first day. He suggests to the old man that they should consider opening more branches, but the old man advises caution, suggesting they should take it slow. But Tobe is determined, and he opens another stall soon. At his new branch, his girlfriend confronts him and reveals that they are no longer dating. She explains that she ended the relationship because she felt she didn't know enough about him, and someone else informed her about his business. She expresses concern about his future, prompting him to call his friend who informed her. His friend clarifies that she suspected Toby of cheating on her, and that's why he advises Tobe to address the matter with her at the mall. After that, the manager notifies him that his stall is causing damage as the smoke is discoloring the ceiling and turning it yellow. Upon investigation, he discovers that it's a bankruptcy notice from the court. Disheartened, he removes it and tosses it into the trash. While wandering in the market, he encounters his girlfriend. Overwhelmed with emotion, he hugs her tightly and starts to cry. In a supportive tone, she suggests that he should consider leaving the chestnut business, go back to school, and assure him of her willingness to help. Accepting her suggestion, they sit in the car together and share a moment, eating fried seaweed that she brought from her house. From there, he gets the idea to try seaweed as his next venture, so Toby heads to the bank to apply for a loan. Initially, the bank representative informed him that they were not entertaining more loan applications due to the existing volume. However, Tobe pleads to hear his story, prompting the manager to give him a single opportunity to make a convincing case. Toby opens up to the man, sharing his entire journey, even revealing a scar he acquired while attempting to fry seaweed. He explains that he had purchased a considerable amount of seaweed, but it unfortunately went stale. Recounting his visit to a food and nutrition university, he gained valuable insights, such as the importance of vacuum packing to prevent staleness. Upon returning from the bank, Toby purchases a significant amount of seaweed. Together with Tuong, they embark on the task of frying it, experimenting to determine the optimal conditions for the best results. Tuong suggests that they need to acquire more seaweed since they haven't quite reached the desired outcome in their experimentation. Toby, determined to move forward, makes a promise to buy more seaweed. In order to fulfill this commitment, he sells his computers and other old gadgets. Tuong, however, becomes disheartened, expressing reluctance to continue due to the significant money already spent. Tobe counters, emphasizing the importance of persistence and the belief that success is just around the corner, encouraged by the belief that once they get it right, they'll make the money back in no time. Toby receives a call from his girlfriend reminding him that it's the last day of registration. He manages to arrive on time and successfully registers for his classes. Later, he returns at night with the boxes of seaweed. In the rain, he attempts to contact Tuong to request frying more seaweed, but there is no response. Concerned for Tuong, Tobe rushes back to search for him and discovers him lying unconscious, with blood visible from a head injury. The situation raises immediate alarm, and Tobe likely considers seeking medical assistance for his injured friend. Tobe takes his uncle to the hospital and anxiously waits in the waiting area, clutching a packet. Fortunately, Tuong's condition is stable, and he will be discharged in a few days. Upon Tuong's recovery, Tobe has him check the seaweeds they fried, ensuring they can continue with their venture once Tuong is back on his feet. Fortunately, Tuong confirmed that the latest batch of seaweed meets their standards, and they decided to resume their business. The surprising twist is that the sales of their seaweed take off on a positive note, marking a successful start to their venture. Tobe's mother calls him to wish him a happy birthday, and during the conversation, she mentions that his father wants to talk to him. His father encourages him to study diligently so that they can bring him to China for the next semester. Toby surprises his father by revealing that he has already purchased his tickets and will send them to him. Determined to know the truth about the debt, Toby presses his father to reveal the details. Initially hesitant, his father eventually discloses that they owe a staggering 40 million, leaving Tobe in utter shock. Upon his return, Tobe discovers another notice on his house, adding to the challenges and complications he's facing. Finally, he finds out about a company called 711 that buys and sells products all over the country. With hope in his heart, Tobe takes his seaweed to the 711 company and patiently waits for his name to be called. The anticipation lingers as he waits for a potential opportunity to present his product and address his financial concerns. Despite practicing his speech in the bathroom, Tobe encounters a hiccup when he forgets to provide his name at the reception. The oversight adds a touch of nervousness as he waits for his turn, hoping to present his seaweed product to the company. When the director arrives, she instructs Tobe to leave his product as she needs to attend a meeting in 10 minutes. Tobe, eager to present his product, requests a few minutes of her time. Unfortunately, despite his efforts, the director doesn't find his product appealing, leaving Tobe disappointed with the outcome. The director points out several faults in Tobe's product and mentions that it is too expensive for their preferences. However, before leaving, she offers a piece of advice, noting that most successful sales start in urban areas before expanding to larger cities. This insight provides Toby with a potential strategy for refining his product and marketing approach. Returning home, Tobe finds his girlfriend waiting for him. She expresses concern, asking why he hasn't shared anything with her, and reassures him of her willingness to help. However, Tobe, overwhelmed by frustration and anger, ends up having a heated argument with her. In a moment of anger, he leaves his girlfriend standing outside and locks the door after entering. The tension and pressure in his life seem to be taking a toll on his relationships. Inside, Tobe lies down with Tuong, feeling regretful and tearful about the fight with his girlfriend. Acknowledging that she was only trying to help, Tuong offers words of comfort, reassuring Tobe not to be too hard on himself and expressing optimism that things will improve. The next morning, Tobe takes proactive steps by getting his packages redesigned, showing a determination to overcome the challenges he's facing. Feeling disheartened, Tobe returns to the 711, but despite waiting the entire day, he is unable to meet with the director. Overwhelmed by disappointment, he decides to give away all his seaweed to a security guard, perhaps as a gesture of frustration and surrender in the face of his unmet expectations. Feeling defeated, Tobe sits at a bus stop and reaches out to his mom, expressing his frustration about nothing working out and his repeated rejections. However, unbeknownst to him, inside the company, his seaweed is spread around the office, and everyone within the company appreciates and enjoys it. The irony of the situation adds a layer of complexity to Tobe's journey. as success seems to elude him despite the positive reception of his product within the company. Soon after, Tobe receives a call from the company, and he is overjoyed to learn that his product has been approved. The company informs him that he will need to deliver his product to their 3,000 branches. The director provides instructions on how to complete the delivery process and assures him that his product will be distributed across their branches. This turn of events marks a significant breakthrough for Tobe, bringing a positive twist to his entrepreneurial journey. Despite successfully passing the GMP inspection, Tobe faces a financial hurdle in completing his first order. The bank continues to refuse him a loan, citing his young age as a factor. To gather funds, Tobe decides to sell his car, generating some money. However, even with this amount, he discovers that it falls short of the funds needed to secure the necessary supplies, creating another obstacle in his entrepreneurial journey. Worried about their chances of success this time, Tobe expresses concern, but Tuong offers reassurance. Tuong emphasizes that nobody knows what will happen next, and they should not lose hope. This advice underscores the importance of staying optimistic and persevering in the face of uncertainty. Tobe Tuong rents a shop and prepares it for their seaweed business. With a GMP inspection approaching, Tobe's uncle suggests bribery, but Tobe insists on handling it properly. During the inspection, there are cleanliness complaints, but no immediate decisions are made. The inspectors state that they will fax their decision later. Tobe commits to addressing the issues in the factory promptly. Upon receiving the fax, he is ecstatic to learn that they have passed the inspection. During their first package delivery, Tobe is very afraid, but Tuong reassures him that everything will be fine, providing support and encouragement. Despite being an hour late and after much pleading, they eventually allow Tobe to deliver his packages. 2 years later, he has successfully paid off his parents' debt, moved back in with them, and seen his business expand globally. Remarkably, he has become the youngest billionaire in the world, achieving remarkable success in his entrepreneurial journey. Subscribe for more content like this.